Happy Thursday afternoon and welcome into the Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. As always, I'm your host, Namath Pitts. I want to remind you to like our East Alabama Now page. Every afternoon, we're live right here at 5 p.m. inside the Locker Room with all your local sports. And then also, I have your local sports on EAN News, which is at 6:30 p.m. Of course, Mike Stedham, Katie Edwards with your local news, John Holder with your local weather, and I bring your sports. So don't forget to like the East Alabama Now page. Don't forget to like EAN News page as well. And we appreciate you watching the Locker Room each and every day. Hey, let's go ahead and start the show with some highlights. But first, before we go into those highlights, we have a proud presenter of those highlights for you, and it's Lindsay Barger. And she is a realtor at Really Real Real Estate in Oxford, Alabama. You love where you live? Well, together, let's make your home dreams a reality. So Lindsay Barger specializes in home buying, selling, and investing. Whether you want to buy a personal home, buy land to build a dream home, sell a rental home, or buy a home to flip and resell, she's your friend through it all. She would love to guide you in the process. So if you're ready to buy or sell, call Lindsay Barger today at 256-441-2389. And don't forget to like and follow her on Facebook and Instagram at lindsaybarger.realtor. So let's go out to Oxford, where most of you know by now, but the Oxford Yellow Jackets opened the keys and unlocked some new facilities this week. You see the nice weight room right here. Oxford Yellow Jackets are one of the most top prolific programs in the state of Alabama. They now have one of the top weight facilities in the state of Alabama. And you see right there, the Yellow Jackets, brand new. It's all brand new. Beautiful logo right there. We're going to walk you through some of these. Again, Lindsay Barger, Really Real Real Estate highlights right here. Again, inside the weight room. And you know, a program starts inside the weight room. That's where you get better. Here's the Oxford. You see, this is a great wall right here. You see the great center right here. I actually was at Oxford today talking with head coach Sam Adams and got to see these facilities up close. And they are as good as advertised. And then you look at this football field. Is this not as pretty as a football field? Look at this little indoor practice facility area. They also have a full-on indoor practice field. There's, of course, their auditorium, their physical therapy room, and all that. New facilities at Oxford. The Yellow Jackets are gearing up for the biggest game of the season up to this point. It's a region championship game against Clay Chalkville. Again, if you haven't watched the Coach's Corner with head coach Sam Adams, that's on our East Alabama Now page. I was at Oxford today earlier talking with Coach Sam Adams on the Coach's Corner. And I asked Coach, last week they had a bye week, so it's been 2 weeks since they hit the field when they played Pell City. Coach Rush Propes, big rivalry game between Oxford and Pell City. And I asked Coach to tell us a little bit about some of the takeaways he took from that game, both good and bad.
Well, we knew that we were going to get their best shot. You know, I mean, the season hadn't gone the way that they wanted it to, and you know, in a rivalry type game, I mean, that was going to be like, you know, their chance to put their stamp on the season. And you know, we definitely did not play our best football in the game. You know, we had two pretty big turnovers there that led to points. Both of them led to points. They were able to put together some explosive plays on us. You know, it was really an interesting game if you kind of look at it play by play. You know, we fell behind early. One of those was because of a turnover. Then got back in control of the game in the third quarter, and then they were able to put some plays together to get back on top of us, and we had the monster drive to end the game. But, you know, really, if you take away they had 4 explosive plays. Outside of those 4, we held them to about 105 yards of offense on 40-something snaps. But, you know, the lesson learned is that, you know, you can't relax and give those up. You know, you got to be able to put your foot on the gas, and when you're in control of the game, be able to finish it out the way that you need to. And
Coach Sam Adams is one of the best coaches in the state of Alabama. He's had a lot of success in his career dating back to Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa. Coming into Oxford, his feet were kind of in the fire. He's hung in there and done a great job leading this program. And this week he's going to face off against one of the best players in the state of Alabama. That's an Alabama commit quarterback for Clay Chalkville. And I asked Coach, how do you slow him down?
You just try to make sure we don't repeatedly put ourselves in situations where we're trying to tackle him with one guy. You may be able to pull that off sometimes, but not consistently. If it's one-on-one, time in and time out, he's going to win a lot of those now. So we've got to be able to get multiple guys to the ball as much as possible. And that's a tall order because there's other good guys around him as well. It's not like it's just the Mbakwe show. I mean, he's the center part of it, but, you know, there's other guys that can do a lot of special things with the ball in their hands as well outside of him. And you can't double everybody, you know. So, we're going to have to tackle really well and limit the number of explosive plays that he gets, and hopefully make those guys earn it all the way down the field and not give up big chunk kind of plays.
Clay Chalkville, quarterback Mbakwe, is sure going to be the biggest test that Oxford has faced this season. He's committed to Alabama for a reason, and mostly it's because of his defensive ability. But Coach talked a little bit more about him at quarterback, and a lot of people, although this is a run-heavy team, a lot of people very, let's just say, underestimate his ability to throw the ball.
He has definitely improved as the season's gone on as a quarterback. That's not his most natural position, and everybody knows that. But the idea that I've heard people say that don't know any better, he can't throw the ball. That ain't true. I mean, he can throw the ball now. It comes out hot. That's not what he wants to do the most, but he can definitely throw touchdowns. So they're not a one-dimensional type team. They do lean more heavily on the run, as anybody would that was coaching that team and knew what they were doing. But they can still throw the ball over your head and throw it short to guys and make you miss and break long ones. And, we're going to have to play really solid across the board.
Clay Chalkville is the most complete team that Oxford has seen all season. There's not a question about that. This is a region championship game at Lamar Field in Oxford. Last year, a lot of people didn't give Oxford much of a hope when they went down to Clay Chalkville, played them to a 5-point game, ended up coming up short, but Oxford had them on the hills there for a little while, and they're looking to do the same this season once again. This time they get them at home. There's a lot on line, a number 1 seed in the state playoffs, to beat a program like Clay Chalkville that's top ranked in, of course, in Class 6A. They're defending deep playoff team. So they actually got upsetted last year in the first round to Parker, but this is still a team. You take away from that, they were one of the top programs, defending teams. Obviously, the success traditionally has always been there for Clay Chalkville year in, year out. Really have played with Clay guys, people that are in that program. And so this is a really complete team. Coach Sam Adams' team knows they have to needed to have a good week of preparation and need to come out mentally focused. They know they have the physical ability to play with this team. Of course, there's not a question about that, but making sure that they're mentally focused, mentally preparing, doing the right things so that they can have a successful game tomorrow night against Clay Chalkville. I'll actually be out at Oxford tomorrow when they face off against Clay Chalkville for a region championship. It's going to be a great environment at Lamar Field, and I'm looking forward to being there. And again, that was Coach Sam Adams with the Oxford Coaches Corner Show. It's the Coaches Show each week. And so if you haven't got to listen to that yet, if you haven't got to watch that, make sure you go to the East Alabama Now page. It's posted already from earlier today. You can go on there and hear more questions, more answers from Coach Sam Adams. You can hear his 3 keys to victory and a lot more. And again, that's every Thursday during football season with head coach Sam Adams and the Oxford Yellow Jackets, who are poised to have a great game tomorrow night against Clay Chalkville with a region championship on the line. Hey, we're going to talk more football, of course, as the show continues on. We're going to go out to White Plains and talk with Coach Blake Jennings. The AHSA reversed a decision that they made earlier this season, and now White Plains is preparing for arguably the best and biggest game since 1994. Coach Blake Jennings and myself will be right back. You're watching The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today. For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your flooring needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston. You can pick out what you like, want, and need, and they can do that there at Ted's. Also, they've got their partnership with Welborn Cabinet and will offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond. And now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. So go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School, or visit them online at shopteds.com. That is shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room. Welcome back into the locker room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm your host, Namath Pitts. We are live right now from White Plains High School with the head football coach, Blake Jennings. Coach, thank you so much for taking time out of your afternoon.
Yes, sir. Hey, appreciate y'all coming over here.
Coach, let's start with the biggest news of the week. Obviously, the HSA reversed a decision they made earlier this season, making you guys eligible for the state playoffs. And here you are in a position this week against Mumford where you have a chance to do something that hasn't been done since 1994. But first, you were sharing something with me before we came on air. It was at Ohatchee when you were the head baseball coach. They hadn't made the playoffs since 1994. And then you come in, you guys make the playoffs, and then never miss since. Here you are as the head football coach of White Plains with the same opportunity to make the playoffs for the first time since 1994. I mean, I don't really believe in coincidences, but this is something a little crazy, right?
Yes, sir, it is. You know, that's exactly right. When, you know, being at Ohatchee, being the baseball coach there, you know, we worked those kids a lot. And that was, again, you know, same thing. It's the same thing we're doing here at White Plains. Just work these guys every single day. And, you know, kids are kids. They want to work. They want to do well. And that number is the same, though. 1994 was the last time they'd made the baseball playoffs. Then when we were at Ohatchee, and I guess that was 2015 or so, or 14 when we made the playoffs there for the first time. And then come here and it's the same thing, you know, and it's been a long time, and, you know, should be a good atmosphere Friday night.
Coach, let's back up a little bit. You all guys obviously go back to September 22nd. You're supposed to play Anniston. There's a shooting, obviously, in Anniston. They cancel their homecoming parade. They cancel their pep rally. But this was not a White Plains decision to forfeit that game. Now, this was a superintendent of county's decision. Reyes obviously had safety in his mind, but you guys get the news that, hey, you're ineligible the rest of the way. You're ineligible. What is your message to the team to not give up? Because look at where you're at now. So what was your message to your team on September 22nd when you had to forfeit that game and then found out at that time that you wouldn't be eligible for the playoffs?
Yes, sir. We didn't know what was going to come of any of that. And like you said, you know, it was bad circumstances and the reason the games had to be canceled, whatever. But for our guys, it was, you know, come back to work, play by play, do what you do every single day, and keep working and keep getting better and just get better for each game. Because at the end of the day, the only game that matters is the next one. You can't think about anything else. Like this week, this is the only game that matters this week. We can't think down the road, any of that stuff, you know, and that's kind of been our mindset and our mentality.
Coach, last week you go on the road to Cleburne County. It's a big night. They recognized a former coach and Coach Michael Short. They had kind of come off some tough losses, but obviously, let's be honest with you, not many people give you guys an opportunity to win that game. And that's kind of been the theme for White Plains over the past couple of years. You come into this job, last week you go on the road and you beat Cleburne County, and then those rumors start to tension because, hey, White Plains is one win away from making the playoffs if they were eligible. And so let's just talk about last week's game. Talk about your team's performance.
Man, you know, we had a great night. I was really proud of our defense last week against Heflin. And we come out there against Heflin, and really at the end of the day, you know, they got 10 points, but we give up a fourth down, a fourth and 10, and we just talked about, hey, they're going to run a wheel behind it. We bought on the post, and that kind of set them up to get those 7 points. So our defense played excellent all night long. We created some turnovers, and then on offense, you know, Dylan Barksdale had a great night. I think he had 255 yards rushing and a couple touchdowns, and P.J. Holloway had a good night for us. Rodney Perry had a great night for us. Had some key, you know, third and fourth down catches for us guys, you know, and up front, that's where it was won at. You know, our offensive linemen and defensive linemen played great all night, and, you know, and that's what we got to do this week too.
Coach, let's talk about Mumford. This is a big game. Obviously, you guys are now reinstated for the state playoffs. A win over Mumford and then, of course, an Anniston win over Cleburne County would solidify you guys a state playoff spot. A loss would obviously, we're not, would put some three-way tiebreaker stuff. We're not going to get onto that right now. Let's talk about the game. Your team goes in and wins. You guys are more than likely in the playoffs for the first time since 1994.
Right, yes, sir. We got to go do our part. And at the end of the day, Coach Easley and those guys, they got a really good team over there. Number 3, their running back, he's excellent. They got a really good quarterback. They got some really big offensive linemen. So we got to do our part on Friday night and come in and execute the things we're putting in practice this week and execute the game plan. And that's what it boils down to. Whoever executes the best, whoever blocks and tackles the best is going to win the football game.
Coach, what was the reaction from the coaching staff? What was the reaction from the players when you told them the news that, hey, we are now eligible for the state playoffs?
The guys are really excited. And they know what they've been working for. And we've been telling them, there's an appeal process, fellas. We don't know what comes of that appeal. And that's out of my hands, and that was our administration. Our administration takes care of all that stuff. And all we can do is come work every single day. And they were excited about it yesterday when we told them after practice, because I didn't know yesterday till 3:30. We're standing out here on the field practicing.
Coach, when you got a situation like this with a team that hasn't touched the playoffs since 1994, and a win this Friday night would give you guys an opportunity, there's a lot of athletes in this school that are just simply not playing football because the success has not been there, right? It's not been classified as, I guess you would say, a football school. You as a head coach, obviously moving forward, there's going to be reclassifications at the end of the season. I know you're not concerned about that right now, but how do you get those students inside the school that are athletic, that could contribute to this team to come out and play football?
I think you've got a few juniors and seniors walking around here that could have probably played football, but those guys have never played football, and so it's kind of tough to get those out. My goal is keeping out all our 8th graders, keeping out all our 9th graders, because we got some really big classes. We got 15 and 16 kids in both of those grades. It's just keeping those kids here. It's keeping those kids excited about football. They had a really good junior high football season. I was really proud of those guys. They won 4 or 5 games, and keeping them excited about this. But it goes back to also working them in that weight room, and they see themselves get bigger, and every single day they're getting bigger, and it takes time, obviously, in there. But to me, the weight room is a product of the football field. Football is a product of the weight room is what it is. And so it's just keeping those guys excited about it. That's all it is.
Coach, 2 quick questions. The next one's obviously it's your first season at White Plains as a head coach. It's your first job as a head football coach. Just talk about your biggest takeaway so far to this point in the season.
You got really good kids here. There's no doubt about it. They work hard. They show up every day. They have great attitudes. They really don't. There's never any problems, and that this goes back to even the classroom. With the White Plains kids, they're great kids here. You got a great community here too. You got people willing to help you. Left and right, and just they'll drop of the hat. They'll come help you do anything.
Coach, I don't know if you realize this. You mentioned you were at Ohatchee, head baseball coach. They hadn't made the playoffs since 1994. They made the playoffs, didn't miss it. Here you are at White Plains. They haven't made the playoffs since 1994. Here you are with an opportunity to do that. I also don't know if you noticed, last year you were at Ohatchee still, started the season off 0-7,
Yep.
won 3 straight games, made the playoffs.
Right.
Here you are at White Plains. Obviously things start off rough, but you have an opportunity to finish on a 4-game winning streak.
That's right.
And go into the playoffs. Again, just
sir.
another, I don't like coincidences, but pretty similar situation.
Yeah, you just, it goes back to you got to show up every day, and you got to keep kids believing in themselves. Even if things go wrong early in the year, just like we're Rambert and Oak Grove early in the season, we had a couple of plays here and there where, we're probably a couple of plays away from being, instead of being 0-2, you're 2-0. And then the Hanley game, Hanley and Hoax Bluff handled us pretty well, but other than that, there's some things that you just keep working on every single day, and kids getting used to how we do things as coaches in their first year under me, and with these other coaches we've got here. So because basically we have a brand new coaching staff. I think one of the only ones that's been here is Coach Sprayberry, and he's calling our defense and doing a fantastic job with it. But it's them getting used to how does practice run on a daily basis? How's the weight room running on a daily basis? And it's starting to, take off. They're starting to get in the routine. They know what we expect, and they bring it every day.
Coach, I'm sorry. I know I said that was my last question, but I want to talk about your quarterback, Barksdale. He had an unbelievable game last week. He's obviously playing the best football of his career right now at this point. Talk about what he means to your program.
Dylan Barksdale, he's our leader. He's our leader in the weight room. He's our leader on the field. He's our vocal guy. Everybody looks to him. They look to everything he's doing. And actually, a couple of weeks ago, we moved Dylan to wing back. We've put him in the slot some, running back, wing back. We've still put him at quarterback. We've brought Crew Martin in, who's a freshman and starting at quarterback for us right now. And that's allowed us to get the ball in Dylan's hands in different ways. And I think over the past 2 weeks, I think he's right at close to 600 yards of total offense just over 2 weeks.
All right, Coach, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Go Wildcats. Yes, sir.
Coach Blake Jennings of the White Plains Wildcats, with a win over Mumford and a Cleburne County loss to Anniston, would clinch them a spot in the state playoffs for the first time since 1994. Some interesting stats there when it comes to Coach Jennings in the year 1994. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to look at all the games in the area for East Alabama football, and we're also going to look at a very big area championship game tonight in girls flag football. We'll be right back. You're watching Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
Welcome to Room by Room Home Furnishings, a locally owned and operated furniture store located in Oxford, Alabama. We've been serving Northeast Alabama and the surrounding area since 2007. We offer stylish and affordable new arrivals and all the top trends to help you get a cozy and homey atmosphere with hand-picked home furnishings and decor to fit anybody's style and budget with knowledge, personality, and good vibes. Let Room by Room in Oxford, Alabama help you score amazing deals and turn your house into a home.
Wait, this isn't a game. It's your basement. It's filling with water. And even worse, it's 2 a.m. Who are you going to call? Time's up. We'll come out 24/7, 365, any day, any time to put out any fires. Well, not actual fire. There's a better number for that. But when it comes to plumbing, call One Tom Plumbing.
Welcome back into the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. As always, I'm your host, Namath Pitts. Don't forget, guys, in just a little bit, EAN News, local news. We've got it with Mike Stedham and Katie Edwards. John Holder, where's he going to be at tonight? What street are we going to be sitting here talking about the weather on? And then I'll bring your local sports. We've got area volleyball. We've got the Cross Country County Championship and a whole lot more on EAN News at 6:30 p.m. right here on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all of your digital medias. I want to again welcome you back in. We're going to continue to talk football, but we're going to talk girls flag football. The Oxford Yellow Jackets have a big game tonight. They are going to be playing at Lamar Field, and there's two big games at Lamar Field tonight and tomorrow night. You start with the Oxford girls flag football tonight, and then the Oxford varsity boys football tomorrow. So the Oxford girls flag football tonight at Lamar Field, they're they're kicking off about right now as we speak against Gadsden City. This is the area championship, so they're going to play Gadsden City first at 5:30 and then play Albertville at 7:30 p.m. Of course, the winners of those will be the area champions and put themselves in a good position as the playoffs approaches. But Coach Westbrooks and the Oxford girls flag football team has had a good season as they have the past 2 years, continuing that success, showing that they're going to be a powerhouse in girls flag football for years and years to come. As most of you know, there isn't classifications in girls flag football, so 1A faces 7A and so forth. But obviously there's a need to continue to grow the sport, and so far Oxford has really been the only team around here. Anniston sporting a girls flag football team last year, although I haven't heard anything from that this year. But Oxford's kind of been that team around here that has been able to put together a really strong girls flag football team. So the Oxford girls flag football will play for an area championship tonight, and then the Oxford boys will play for an area championship tomorrow against Clay Chalkville. Two big games at Lamar Field on back-to-back nights. Let's go ahead and look at all of our East Alabama games for this week because we've got some good ones, of course, as always. Alexandria, the Valley Cubs, are still winless on the season. Coach Ginn's team still looking for their first win. They're going to go on the road to a very tough environment. They're going to face Miles Holcomb and the Southside Panthers. The Southside, let me tell you, they lost their star quarterback, Neesmith, earlier in the year. Everyone, including myself, started doubting this Panthers team, and they have done nothing but prove people wrong since then. So Alexandria, another tough game on the road at Southside. The Anniston Bulldogs, they're playing at Lott Mosby Stadium against a winless Talladega team, and Anniston is looking for their 600th win in program history. 600 wins as a program. That is what the Anniston Bulldogs are looking for with a win over Talladega. The Handley Tigers are facing off against the Tigers of Cleburne County. It's a battle of Tigers. This battle will be down in Roanoke. The Handley Tigers can go ahead and clinch up that region championship this week with a win over Cleburne County. Donahoe, the Falcons, are still winless after losing to TCC last week. Spring Gardens starting to find their way, find that consistency. They're going to go on the road to Donahoe. Spring Garden's going to come into Anniston, up on the mountain, and face Donahoe. Ohatchee's had a bit of a tough couple weeks. Injuries have piled up. It's been a tough season for Coach Scott Martin at Glencoe. The Yellow Jackets are coming into the Creek Bank. Coach Scott Martin's first trip to Ohatchee since he became the head coach at Glencoe. That's one to keep your eyes on, Glencoe at Ohatchee. Montford at White Plains. You heard from Blake Jennings just a minute ago. This is a big game. If Montford wins this game, it would create a three-way tie that still has to be determined, but more than likely a three-way tie means Cleburne County's in the playoffs. A win for White Plains, though, would solidify, of course, when Anniston went over Cleburne County next week, it would more than likely solidify a playoff spot for White Plains. So Montford is essentially out of the playoffs. There's no way for them to get in. And Montford has got to go on the road to White Plains. That is as big of a game as White Plains has had since really 1994. The Wildcats are looking to get into the playoffs. Region championship game in Class 6A. Clay Chalkville at Oxford. The Cougars are coming into town. They're on fire. Got a star quarterback in Mbakwe who's committed to Alabama. We know what Mason Mims and the Oxford Yellow Jackets can do. Kamari Hampton. Coach Sam Adams' team is going to be coached well. They're going to be mentally prepared. Big game from Lamar Field. Clay Chalkville comes into Lamar Field. Piedmont at Geraldine. Piedmont's getting into kind of some of them must-win games. Hooks Bluff's going to be a big game for them in terms of the playoffs, but they're going to have to go on the road to face Geraldine, who right now is sitting at number 2 in Class 3A Region 6. Pleasant Valley, we talked about this earlier in the week. This is a big game for Coach Nix's team at Southeastern. They have not hosted a home playoff game since the 80s. And so a win over Southeastern would clinch them the number 2 spot in this Class 2A region, and they would get to host the first round of the playoffs. A loss is going to put them on the road in the playoffs. Either way, Pleasant Valley's in the playoffs, but a big game on the road at Southeastern. The Ranburne Bulldogs, they also have a big game. They're going to be at home. Thorsby's coming into town. This is a winner makes the playoffs game. A loser is out. So this is just like last year. It's a rematch to determine who's going to make the playoffs in 2A Region 4. Thorsby's at Ranburne. Big game for the Bulldogs. The Weaver Bearcats, Coach Ken Kofer's team, did something they haven't done in 5 years, and that is win 3 games in a season. In Coach Ken Kofer's first season, Weaver's already won 3 games, the first time since 2018. They go to the Hill, and there is a lot of history on the line for Walter Welborn this Friday night. Coach Jeff Smith is looking to win 100 wins at Welborn. Coach Jeff Smith's team's looking to clinch the 3A Region 4 championship. They can have a 2-for-1 special night on the Hill with a win over Weaver. They can win a region championship. They can win 100 wins for Coach Jeff Smith's program. He already became the winningest coach at Walter Welborn just 2 weeks ago at the Hill. This would be 2 special moments at the Hill. And then, of course, next week they go to Sachs, come back the last week, host Cleburne County. Going to be a big celebration in honor of Paula Short, who is, of course, the wife of Coach Michael Short. She passed away. Going to be a big ceremony in a couple weeks from Welborn. So some big games still left on the Hill. Coach Jeff Smith's Panthers looking for 100 wins under him, also looking for region championship. Jacksonville Golden Eagles are off this week. They have an open week. The Sachs Wildcats are off this week. They have an open week. And then the Jacksonville Christian Thunder are off. They completed their regular season last week going undefeated, and they are now preparing for the semifinals of the 8-man football playoffs. So a win next week. They're going to play at home next week in the semifinals, and a win in that game would put them in the state championship game. So Jacksonville Christian, and Sachs are all off this week. That's your East Alabama games for this week, Week 8. I can't believe we've already made it to Week 8 of the football season, and this season is flying by. And so we're going to continue to look around and see how things go. Tomorrow we'll break down all them games more. We'll analyze those games more and continue to talk local sports here in East Alabama as always. Don't forget EAN News at 6:30 p.m. I'll meet you guys inside the newsroom there with more volleyball and cross country. You aren't going to want to miss that. I want to thank you so much for watching The Locker Room. I want to thank Nathan and Ashley Gober for everything they do behind the scenes. Again, this production would not be possible without them. They deserve recognition. You would not believe that this show is 3 people each and every day, but them 2 are really what makes it happen. All right, guys, I'm Namath Pitts. I'll see you tomorrow back here on The Locker Room. God bless.